So hello guys, what's up and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your girl Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. Shebi I talk am. I tell Una, I told you guys, but you guys didn't believe me. I have informed you people long time ago, but you guys kept doubting me. I told you people that it is podcast. It is podcast that will finally scatter Africa. And people were like, oi, there's a tabafo. We are beginning to see it. We are beginning to see it with our korokoro eyes. In our last video, I gave you guys the full gist, the full breakdown, the full cocoa of who YVONNE JEGEDE is. You guys know I like to give my content clean and thorough, and I understand that some people might not even know her, so I had to go back, far back, and did a full documentary so you guys can know this lady. So when we want to address today's topic, you will know where we are coming from and where we are going to. If you enjoyed it, begin to give this video a big thumbs up already. See, once you guys just open my content, no, you are always carried away by my gist and my sweet mouth. You are always forgetting Mbano. Once you open my content, the first thing you should do is to give Nezeville a big thumbs up. Okay, I start to give this video a thumbs up now. And if you're new here, you're seeing my face for the first time, or if you've been watching me without subscribing, please hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop your comments in today's video. Hey, Bass will be bossing. No grief for anybody. Sorrow's okay. Drop your comments. Nothing they happen. Talk it as it is. Drop your comments down in the comment section and stay glued because we always have so much more coming your way. So a few days ago, a podcast featuring YVONNE JEGEDE aired. She was a guest at the Honest Bunch podcast, and she did say quite a lot. We have always known that YVONNE is a very outspoken and opinionated woman, so we were already expecting a show, and boy did we get quite one. That podcast was filled with gist. They spoke quite a lot about several subjects, and you know one thing with when there is joint gist, it does not just happen only on podcasts. So even in real life, there's a way you will just be with your friends or with some people, you just be gisting before you know it, you go talk the one way when you go home for night. As you dey bathroom, they bath, you go they sweat, you will say, hi, I'm Momo. Why did I go and say this thing? But you know, when you are in the midst of the whole gist, adrenaline is popping, the gist is sweating, your body is totally you, your mouth will just flow like tap without control. That is exactly how podcasts work. So if you know that you are going to regret what you said, don't even go for the podcasts. That was exactly what happened in this podcast with YVONNE JEGEDE. She said that the main essence of coming to that podcast was to promote her new movie. But before we could say Jack Robinson, before we could say Jack Daniel, YVONNE had spilled, and overspilled. She spoke about her failed marriage. She spoke about all the things that led to the divorce. She was very open about a lot of things that I believe that somehow she didn't even intend to talk about. And we were really loving the flow. We were loving her gist. YVONNE has always been perceived or seen as a very intelligent and articulate woman, so we couldn't wait to hear her opinions on a diverse of subjects, and it was going good and fine for everybody until it got to this particular topic. Can you guess? You know now. If you ask me, now who I go ask? They got to the topic of you, Judy, and EDOCHIE. And I think at this point they were talking about how people have opinions about things and how people are always castigating people and this and that. And this is what YVONNE JEGEDE had to say about the May, Judy, and Yule issue.
The same issue of Yule EDOCHIE.
Is the same Yule EDOCHIE? 99% of people that are abusing him on the internet are from second wives and third wives and fourth wives and fifth wives. And sometimes wives that the family does not know about. Let us stop being silly on the internet. He's owning his BS with his chest. I don't see anything he's done wrong. I know they go finish me now when this police will come out. They go tear me to pieces. But most of us are from second wives, third wives, fourth wives, wives that their family don't know.
When this podcast aired, it was very clear that YVONNE had struck a raw nerve. This one is not raw. She had struck an open wound. She had stepped on the cobra's head, or is it python? Which one is more dangerous? People were not expecting YVONNE to have this kind of concept about what transpired between you, Judy, and me. And I will give you the reasons. One, YVONNE is a woman. And a lot of people expected some more understanding, some more empathy, some more sensitivity about such case. You see, quote me anywhere. It is only a woman who can fully grasp, fully understand the deepest depths of a feeling, especially a feeling like pain. I'm not trying to invalidate my men's feelings or my big chairman, my odogus, I hail you. I see you guys. I am not trying to invalidate your feelings, but I repeat that it is only a woman that can get to the seabed of a pain and feel it to the extent that she physically hurts, extent that she physically feels pains due to an emotional strain. I'll give you an example. Do you know that, pardon this example, but we are talking reality here. Do you know that if a couple lose a child, the pain that the father will feel will be deep and excruciating, but it will never be compared to the pain that the mother of that child will feel. Have you heard a man relay the news of a loss of maybe a parent or a child? You can hear him say something like, my guy, you don't see him now, you don't see as he being. Man, it is somehow. It's not like he's not hot, but men do better managing pain than women. Separation of a parent from a child. The pain that a woman will feel when she is separated from her child can never be compared to the pain that a man will feel. A man will do better and bask in the comfort that when the child grows up, the child will come and look for him. But the mother, every day and every night, she would keep thinking of that child. She would keep praying for that child. She would keep crying over that child. Women are extreme emotional beings. Even when a marriage ends between daddy and mommy, daddy has remarried. Mommy is still talking about that divorce of 25 years. When she comes to your house for Omugo, she will complain. She will keep holding on to that emotional pain. Mommy cannot stop talking about what daddy did to her. Mommy cannot move on from that pain. Mommy is always lamenting. Mommy will turn to a bitter woman that is always sad, while daddy has almost forgotten that he was once married to mommy. Check how women react to sad news. How many men have you seen crying when they are watching movies? How many men do you see come across somebody else's story on the internet and start crying on Instagram? How many men will watch Neze narrate the story of a sad news and start crying on YouTube? But my ladies, if I tell women now to raise their hand if they've ever cried on the internet or cried for a stranger, you will see that 95% of us have cried. I tell you, please be reminded today, if you're a man and you don't know, that no man will be able to understand or fully feel the depths of a woman's emotions. Let me paint this example for you, because in today's video, we're going to be giving examples. We're going to be breaking it down. Bang, bang, bang. If a man tells his male friend that maybe his child passed, because men are more straightforward thinkers, they think in boxes. They think in clear cut out boxes. That man would think of the child, possibly think of the events that led to the death, and he'll feel bad for what has happened to his friend, right? Let me tell you how a woman would interpret that news. Because sometimes when men and women are fighting, it's because we have chosen not to understand each other. Oh, we love each other. It's just lack of understanding. So let me be telling you. The woman would first think of the child, the age of the child. If she has a child that age, she will start to compare that child with the child she has. Start imagining, oh, this is my child's age mate. She can start thinking of all the pains, the process that she suffered. It's not her child that something happened to her, but she will bring in her experience bearing a child and start thinking of all the pain she went through to bear a child and start relating it to that person's child that had passed. She will start imagining the pictures of the event. Maybe the child died through an accident. She will start imagining how the accident happened. Whether the child screamed though. What was the child's last moment? Did the child remember his father? She will now start thinking of how the child's mother will be feeling. The pain the child's mother will be feeling. How the child's mother cannot sleep at night. How the child's mother will be crying. How the child's mother will bear seeing the child's remains. A woman over conceptualizes situations and things and events, and before you know it, that woman will start crying too. For her, it is not just boxes. It is not just the child passed. For her, is a series of many things that happened and that will happen that led to that event. We are very detailed thinkers, so most times our emotions are overblown. That is why a woman would enter a room and immediately she would pick out the person that does not like her in that room. in 1 second. Overthinkers. Then she would not go and tell her husband, baby, did you see how that girl was looking at you? Did you see how that man was looking at you? He didn't like you. See the attitude he gave you. And the man will be wondering, how, when, which attitude? He didn't even notice it. So a man can never be capable of being as sensitive, as emotionally aware, and as empathetic as a woman. I'm talking generally here, not exceptions. So don't tell me about when Adebayo in Oshu State that used to cry anyhow. So that is why personally, when I see a man talking lackadaisically about this Yule May, there was marriage, she doesn't want, she has gone now. That is a man for you. But a woman, she would think of the pain that the woman has gone through, the nights of lies, the adultery and all the cover up, how the Yule is torturing her. All these many things would stir up the emotion in the woman that will make her more sympathetic towards that victim. So I don't even blame men when they talk like this. I just look at them and say, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they are doing. So what is more worrisome for a lot of women is when women, fellow women, do not feel or understand the pain that they are supposed to understand. And that is why it was pretty shocking for a lot of people for Yvonne Jegede to come out and say that you didn't do anything. In fact, it would have been better for her to say, I beg, leave that one in a person's private life. I don't want to talk about that one. For her to say a man that was sneaking out on his wife for 5 years and impregnated his mistress and started a new family without his wife knowing, until a blog came to explain. He now tried to force the polygamy on the woman and came out to dance when the woman's first son died with his concubine, and will then come online to be shaming and insulting the woman even when the woman didn't say a word to him. A lot of people found it very offensive that Yvonne would hold that opinion on that situation. What do you think about this in the comment section? Let us go to number 2. Another reason why this whole podcast, especially on that Yulme and Judy issue, is driving a lot of people bonkers, is driving a lot of people gaga, is making a lot of people's head pop like popcorn, pop, is that Yvonne herself is a product of bad marriage, if I can put it in quotes. You can see how many interviews that was cutting. No be small work. I went to start watching more than 10 interviews from way back, and you can see that it wasn't once, it wasn't twice, it wasn't 3. In every interview, she was lamenting on what her husband did. The husband has never said a word. And what is this thing her husband did? The husband kept malice with her. Malice is the reason why Yvonne packed her load and ran away from marriage that is not up to 1 year. The husband didn't cheat. She said the husband was good. He didn't do anything to her. You heard it from... See, if you haven't watched that video, please spare me the sweats. Go back and watch that video. She said the man didn't do anything to her. That is that malice that made her to pack her load and disappear with pregnancy. Then you come to podcast a fellow woman that has tolerated betrayal, agony. A woman that has wet her pillows for 20 years, that her husband will tell, I want to go for shoots, and he will go to hotel and lodge, and she will forgive. That it is even alleged that the man would even take their joint money and go and finance his concubine. A woman that has seen this kind of shege with her koro eyes. Yvonne knows the story. Yvonne is a very social media savvy person. She is always online. She has read everything. She knows what happened, so she cannot even feign ignorance. A woman that suffered that kind of marriage, that you couldn't even bear for 1 year, is the person that you came and said the husband didn't do anything to her. After the sabotage, the deceit and the betrayal, and 20 years going down the drain, and we saw how this man has been misbehaving online. People were surprised to hear Yvonne say that you has done nothing wrong. 3. Yvonne is a single mother of a boy, and she is a single mother from a marriage that she has claimed the father of that child has reneged on his financial duty to cater for the child. Yvonne has been going from podcast to podcast to call out that man, that she is the only one solely responsible for that her child. One child though. Chakuko, this life is very funny. But on the other hand, May has 4 children. One has gone to be with God. But even when that child was alive, you has made it clear that he's not going to be financially responsible for the 4 children. So the financial responsibility of caring for those children that he had with her is solely on the shoulders of the woman. God punish Satan. He wants to be a polygamist, but he does not have polygamist money. He does not have money for polygamy. He's struggling to take care of the children he had with his concubine, struggling to take care of the children that that she brought from her former marriage, which money will he see to now take care of the other ones? That is how many children, almost, is it 10? But this woman has not opened her mouth. This woman, May, has never come out to castigate the man. She stayed on her lane, working her fingers to the bones, providing for her children. She has a daughter in the university, paying for private university. Do you know what it means to pay for private university in Nigeria? Sending her kids to private schools while their father is on Instagram and Facebook dancing with the concubine, not contributing 1 naira, not even to cut hair. And yet, Yvonne came to a podcast to defend that behavior that Yul has not done anything. This position was very triggering from a lot of people. And people are like, you that you are talking, it is only 1 child that the man left with you to take care of. That means if he left 4, the way Yul left for me, it's not only podcast that you will go to, it's BBC and CNN that would have carried your matter. It's alright. 4. Ever since Yvonne's marriage broke, in fact, I have lost count of the number of times that Yvonne had to narrate the whole story for even people that cared and people that didn't care. She is always telling the story about what her husband did, And fine, we're in the era of Sorosoke. We're in the era of speak your truth. So we were like, okay, if she wants to tell her story, who are we to condemn her? If it's going to make her feel better, feel lighter, go ahead and speak. But May, on the other hand, has never granted any interview to bash her husband, to speak ill of her husband, to say the truth of the torture she went through in her marriage, to express her shock. Do you know what it means for your heart to be heavy and you want to come out and defend yourself? You want to come out and speak your truth, but you still hold yourself. That is discipline, and that is what that woman is doing. Now, ironically, the man that put her through that mess is now the one granting interviews everywhere. EDOCHIE is now on every low-budget podcast talking about marriage this, marriage that. He has now gone on a full-blown campaign of smear to bring his wife down. Today he will say she's a prostitute, she's sleeping with men. Tomorrow he will accuse her of doing breast enlargement. She is looking for men. She is trying to pump her breast. She is doing this. Next tomorrow he has been on the media with his concubine Judy, trying to pull this woman down, and she has not said a word to them. And yet, even JEGEDE came out to say that what you did, he has not done anything wrong. I don't have to wonder, I don't even have to think too far. But you and I know that if it was Yvonne JEGEDE that was married to you, in fact the marriage would have been 6 weeks. 6 weeks is what it would have taken her to pack out. But we know what she would have done. If it was her that Yul was snaring like this, she would have not sat for it. So it was very sad to a lot of people to see her dismiss May's pain and say, after all, she's doing well, the whole thing has projected her, she's getting adverts. What is it? You didn't do anything.
We have people on our streets, people in our churches, people in our neighborhood, in our community that have left their wives even in the most horrible way. At least May came out looking good. She's doing well for herself. Nigerians have supported her. They've pushed her up there. She's doing well. She's been an ambassador. She's earning money. She's looking beautiful every day. Kudos.
The last thing that Yvonne said that provoked a lot of people, that made a chill run down the back of the spines of people, especially people that held her in very high esteem, people that perceived her as a very intelligent woman, because that's the kind of aura she exudes, was when she said this.
You go pause the guy, then you go leave network.
Do you understand? Why? And you're saying Regina is now your prayer point. It's only she fear advise you for marriage.
Maybe
These are the comments I see.
Maybe because in one
Why are you
case,
cursing him?
Maybe because in one case the person own waiting in they do with in chest.
But that's
And in
how
the other one,
you did.
no, wait.
Wait.
In the other one, it be like say the person cut corner. When it can't happen, it can't begin to justify.
But how is it your business?
I'm a man.
How is it your business?
That's I just said, from second wife, third wife, even wives that the families don't know. We have plenty. Wives, so if the wife no know. There's so many of them.
At this point, people almost gave up. It was tiring. We were tired. And it's good to ask, because I've heard this errant insanity quite a number of times. When has being born into a family where something is practiced amount to an automatic endorsement of that practice that is not within your control? What kind of madness? Isn't that stupidity? Isn't that insanity? So everybody must support the kind of family they are born into. If I'm born into a family of rogues, I must support rogues. If I'm born into a family where my mother put another man's child on my father, that means I must endorse it too. I must do it. I must say it's good. And if my father used to beat my mother, I cannot come out to say it is bad for a man to beat a woman. So I will be told, So why are you saying that? After all, you were born into a family where fathers beat women. What kind of thinking is this? Just because someone comes from a family where such a thing happened does not mean that they endorsed it, or does not mean that they cannot speak against it or stand against it. As a matter of fact, that even puts them in a better position too, because they have lived through it, they have experienced it, they have seen polygamy and they have seen the dangers, they have lived through the hate, the jealousy, the envy, the witch hunting, and they know what comes out of it. So it's even children who are born from second wives and born from women that their families don't know that the man has married. Those are the children that are supposed to come out and stand against things that are wrong, because they have first-hand experience of how it goes. So telling people, it is people that their mother is second wife. So what if their mother is second? Are they their mothers? Are they the ones that married the man? It's not their fault. And the very, very most painful part about all of these things is that Yvonne is a mother to a son. You see, our beliefs, our ideals, our concept of right and wrong rubs off on our children ultimately. Many men that support other men maltreating their wives, bullying their wives, betraying their wives, or beating up their wives, many of them come from homes where their father was doing that to their mother, and they saw their mother take it. They saw their mother tolerate it. That is their reality. That is what they are taught. That is what they are used to. So when they come and they see a woman like me, they say, no, you cannot treat me like that. I'm not going to stay where I am treated like filth. They start insulting her because they're not used to a woman standing up for herself and saying no. They start calling her names because that is what they have been taught by their father to believe is normal, and what they have been taught by their mother to believe that is normal. And that's when you hear, I want a woman that is like my mother. These are the issues. That is why the success or failure of the next generation of marriages lies in we parents to be able to transfer the correct ideals to our children. Because when we keep justifying wrongdoings, justifying maltreatment, and making up and teaching our sons that it's okay to maltreat women, that it is okay to maltreat other people in the name of tradition, I assure you that marriage in the next 40 years, 30 years, 20 years, the marriages of that time will not be able to stand those kinds of policies. You are setting your son up for a life of instability, because the women that will be waiting for him with those concepts that you have put in his head will not be able to tolerate it. Is it not clear? When the reality of these things I'm warning you people about starts happening, we might even be dead and gone by then, and people will be in your grave. You say, hey, I remember when this stubborn Nezeville used to tell us this thing. We were not listening to her. We didn't believe her. Now see the kind of marriages our children have, because we have refused to project the right, just and fair ideals to our society. We have refused to train boys and train girls too. We have continued to hand down to the next generation that a man is right regardless of what he does, and it must rest on the shoulder of the woman to make the marriage work. Instead of teaching equity, instead of teaching love, compassion, and mutual respect, we justify ills. I beg. Now beg, I take beg. Let us uphold the right thing. If we see something that is right, say that is right. If you see something that is not good, say that it is not good. Say that it is wrong. Uphold equity in the home, not equality. Equality is rubbish. Equality should only be projected in the workplace, in the society. If a man can be a governor, if a woman has the know-how, if she has the qualification, why can't she be a governor too? That is the equality that should be fought, but not in the home. Equality has nothing to do with the home. What we should project in our families is equity, kindness, fairness. Not when we see wickedness and abnormal behavior, we'll say it's okay and it is right. There's nothing wrong in it. I beg. Guys, Yvonne really hurt a lot of people. She directed her words at me, but a lot of people were hurt in the process. And yes, she has apologized. She came out to apologize for her utterances and all of that. But the truth is that she said what she said. What she said the first time was the truth about how she felt about it. This apology is an afterthought. Yes, it has been accepted. Hopefully it has been by May, but this is just an afterthought due to the backlash. She said what she said and she believes what she believes. I hope she raises her son with a different mindset, not to believe that he can do this kind of thing to another human being and justify it that it's okay. That is not okay. So guys, I have spoken my spoke. I have talked my talk. You guys know that most times in many of my videos, I'm always like, I present the issues to you, I say, what do you think? But you see some topics like this one, I unabashedly, with my full chest, back and spinal cord, always say what I think about it. These are some of my own thoughts. Do drop yours down in the comment section. If you feel that Yvonne didn't do anything, drop in the comment section. Opinions are free. If you think that the way you treated his wife, the way he did the whole polygamy thing was right, that he went to court wedding, took a vow before the law, went to church, took a vow before God to monogamy, and he impregnated that woman, hid it from his wife. This story after. Please, I don't have to recount the whole story. If you feel like what you did to his wife and how he did it, and all the things that he has been doing after doing it is right, also drop down in the comment section. So guys, yes, we have come to the end of today's video. If you're new here, see my face for the first time, or if you've been watching without subscribing, don't forget to hit the subscribe button, give this video a big thumbs up, drop all your comments, no matter how controversial they are, down in the comment section, and stay glued because we have so much more coming your way. It's me, your girl, Barrister Neze, and this is Nezeville. I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye.